skipping arpeggio lesson. So this is the arpeggios from the recent Empress Heavy video that I did. The second half of the solo, I did some string skipping arpeggios, and a couple people on the internet called it correctly. They were like, oh, that's some old school Paul Gilbert right there. And it's true. In his Intense Rock 2 video, he did this really cool string skipping arpeggio sequence, and he was talking about how he doesn't do a lot of a lot of sweep picking, but that he figured out a cool way to play arpeggios by just simply skipping strings. And so the thing that he plays in his video is something along these lines at a slow tempo. Okay, so that's the basic arpeggio shapes that he does. So I'll stop right there because that's basically a major shape and a minor shape. So what he's doing, he's pulling off from the 14th fret to the 10th fret on the high E string. Okay, hitting just with a downstroke, pulling off. Skipping over to the 3rd string, going to the 14th fret and pulling off from the A note there to the 11th fret, okay, the F sharp. Okay, so you're jumping over the 2nd string, okay, and then you land on the root note on the 12th fret of the D string, okay, the D note there. So it's a D major arpeggio. Okay, so you're simply just doing pull-offs and hammer-ons for the majority of the lick. Okay, and it's a way to play an arpeggio and get those kind of wide intervals going without sweep picking. So then what he does in his sequence is he jumps down onto the next set of strings down, but plays the exact same shape, okay, and plays an A major arpeggio. This time he starts from the root on the 12th fret, the note A, 12th fret of the 5th string, and then he does a hammer-on from the 11th fret to the 14th fret on the 4th string. Okay, and then he jumps over to the 2nd string, okay, to the 10th fret, okay, the A there, and does a hammer-on up to the 14th fret, and pull off with your pinky. Okay, and back down to the 4th string, okay, hitting the 14th fret, pull off, down to the 11th fret. Okay, something like that. The next shape, when he shifts down kind of into the 7th position, back up onto the sort of the group of the strings, starting from the 4th string down to the 1st string, he's pulling off from the 10th fret D note down to the B at the 7th fret. Okay, and then skipping over to the 3rd string, pulling off from the 11th fret to the 7th. Okay, and then hitting the root note B on the 4th string at the 9th fret. Back up to the 3rd string, hammering on from the 7th fret to the 11th fret, and then ending on the B note on the 7th fret of the high E string. Then he goes down to the 5th string at the 9th fret and does the same pattern that we did up here with the major arpeggio. Okay, this looks like this. 9th fret of the 4th string, okay, the note F sharp. Hammering on, then picking on the 4th string, the 7th fret, hammering on to the 11th fret. Okay, skipping over to the 2nd string. Okay, a hammer and a pull. Okay, that's the 7th fret to the 10th fret and pulling off back to the 7th fret. At this point, I'll just say, like a lot of people say, hey, you never use your pinky. This is kind of almost why I don't use my pinky that much, because when I grew up, I worked really hard on this kind of stuff, practicing these licks, and my pinky was always reserved for these great big 6 fret stretches, and I was always using my 3rd finger for kind of the 4 fret stretches. So I just didn't get a lot of use, I didn't use my, within a box position, my pinky that much, really. It was always these like big stretches that I was doing when I was trying to play these kinds of arpeggios that I was learning from Paul and stuff. So anyway, At this point, I just want to say proceed slowly with this stuff. You know, these are huge stretches, and going between your first and fourth finger and doing these hammers and pulls, it's pretty physically taxing. If you feel any pain or anything like that, just stop and give it a rest for a while and then come back to it the next day. Work up to this stuff slowly because you don't want to develop any kind of like carpal tunnel or tendonitis or any of that kind of stuff. Just listen to your hands if they're telling you that you're overtaxing them and take it slowly. Okay, so once again, just at a medium tempo. Okay, so that's kind of the first half of the Paul Gilbert sequence, and if you're interested in seeing him blaze through it, do it up to tempo and stuff, you can check out the Intense Rock 2 video from him. But that's where I got this idea from for these string skipping arpeggios. Okay, so with my arpeggio sequence, a little bit different than Paul's. The feel's different. Mine's triplets. Dot, 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 triplet, right? And I'm going to stick on the top 4 strings from my licks and just do variations on major and minor arpeggios. And beyond that, it's just getting the pattern. So mine sounds like this at a slow tempo. Here's the beginning part. Okay, so what am I doing there? Well, first of all, the chords I'm spelling out are A major, okay, and A flat minor. If I start with the A major arpeggio, I'm pulling off from the 9th fret to the 5th on the high E string. Skipping to the 3rd string, pulling off from the 9th fret to the 6th fret. Hitting the root note, A, on the 4th string. Back to the 3rd string. Hammer on from the 6th fret to the 9th fret. Up to the high E string, you do this little move. Okay, so I'm going to hit that top note twice. Okay? And then I repeat, I sort of go over the 3rd string again one more time like this. 6th fret to the 9th fret. Jump to the high E string. So. And once again, hammer from the 6th fret to the 9th fret on the 3rd string. And then shift down in your position. Okay, so that's what I do there, okay? And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm shifting down to from A major to the A flat minor arpeggio, and I need to spell that out because that's what the chord change does. So it's kind of before the downbeat of the next bar. Okay, and I actually hit the E flat note there on the 2nd string, I think. For this particular part, so that's the one thing I'm going to hit on the 2nd string, not skip. Okay, so this sounds like this so far. Okay, and then I go like this. Okay, so that's a pull off from the 7th fret to the 4th fret. These are big stretches on the high E string. Then a pull off on the 3rd string from the 8th fret to the 4th fret. Down to the A flat note on the 6th fret of the 4th string. Hammer on again on the 3rd string from the 4th to the 8th. Okay, to the high E string, and do that little trick where you play the top note twice. Okay, hammer and a pull, and then down to the 4th fret of the 2nd string. And then bend up the 7th fret to the 9th fret, a whole step. Bend up that F sharp note. Okay, sounds like this. Okay, that time when I did it, I actually hit that E flat note. I noticed I hit it on the 3rd string. Sometimes I think I do it on the 2nd string, sometimes I do it on the 3rd. Doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you, whatever's easier technically, as long as you've got the notes. Very similar thing then, moving up basically to the 14th fret. We're going to play a D major arpeggio up here. It's going to be D major to D flat minor. This is the sequence, and it sounds like this. Now, you could do the exact same lick. I chose to go like this. Just play a little kind of like, you know, descend through kind of the blues box, essentially, and just mix it up a little bit, get out of the arpeggio sound for a second. So, what did I do? Okay. And then I thought, how can I mix it up? Because I'm going to play basically the same thing again, so I don't want to do exactly the same thing. So I thought, well, I'll go up an octave, and that'll add to, you know, some sense of movement and excitement to the lick. So same thing, up an octave, essentially. Okay. It's really, basically, I'm repeating the lick that I did down here. For the first half in the A flat major to the A flat minor. Okay, and then I go back to the D position again. And then I went. Which is the one sweep lick I do all the time. Okay, so okay. So I'll spell that out for you here. Okay, it's a D flat minor arpeggio once again, and okay, I'm doing that. So I'm playing the A flat note on the. It's been all. I'm out of my teaching chops here. I'm a little bit rusty. 16th fret of the high E string. Okay, so that's the 16th fret to the 14th fret to the 16th to the E note on the 12th fret, alternate picking. Okay, and then I sweep pick to the D flat note at the 14th fret on the second string, and then to the 13th fret on the third string, okay, the A flat note. And that's all sweep. So down, up, down, up, up, up. Okay, and then I'm going to ascend a sweep from the 16th fret on the third string to the 14th fret on the second string to the E note on the high E string, okay, the 12th fret. And I kind of slide up with my pinky then from the 16th fret up to 19th fret. And I do a similar descending thing. Okay, so I'm pulling off from the 19th fret down to the 16th fret, and then I'm hitting the 17th fret on the second string, and the 16th fret on the third string, okay, and then I'm hitting the 18th fret on the third string, sweeping down to the 17th fret of the second string, to the 16th fret on the first string, to the 19th fret on the high E string, and bending up a whole step. Okay, and the time is kind of loose there, really. Just as long as you kind of play it fast and end up on the downbeat, you're cool. watching my video on string skipping arpeggios. Thanks to Mr. Paul Gilbert for the inspiration on how to play those way back in the day. I used to watch his intense rock videos all the time, and they helped my technique game greatly. Hey, hit subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it. Come back and see me for more videos real soon. Hit the bell beside the subscribe, and you'll get an alert every time I put out a new video. Hey, I'm Pete Thorn. Take care.